Hey guys, it's quote unquote your boy, Baldface 8020, back again with another great response video. Um, so I had wanted to, I tried to do a couple videos earlier today, and trust me, you guys aren't missing anything from me not deciding not to post them. They were just dumb kind of dumb topics that were just not good video material. Didn't even finish either one. Uh, so I was just like, you know what, today is not the day. It's not going to happen today. But then I saw this thing from Rollo, and I was like, okay, maybe we got something here. So Rollo is breaking down Brandon Tate's I don't know what you call it, infield. Let's just call it his game in here. Brandon Tate's going to be trying to game this attractive half white, half Caribbean. My guess is that even the Caribbean side is less than 100% black, though. Chick. So on Brandon Tate, I mean, obviously he's really blown up since the pandemic, but it seems especially in these last couple of months. I'm not sure why. I think black pillars would be like the type to criticize him. Yes, he's a scam artist. Everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disputing that. However, I would say that unlike a lot of the red pill guys, Brandon Tate kind of is the real deal. Not real deal in terms of advice. Don't listen to his advice. That absolutely not. But you know, I mean, he was a decent kickboxer. He does seem to be, yeah, he's a scam artist now, and he's always made money in a skeezy way, but he is kind of impressive as an entrepreneur. I mean, yeah, sure, his morals aren't impressive, but in terms of just what he gets done, and he's got a real natural confidence and stuff. And I'm sure people are going to say like, oh, well, he's not really a Chad. It's like, yeah, I mean, his face is kind of ordinary. That's true, but ordinary face plus 6'2", plus just naturally really strong. Uh, he's you know, mm, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's at least close enough to a Chad. He's as close to a Chad as you're going to get. I mean, he's much more of a Chad than Casey. He's probably not as much of a Chad as Cole. But I would say he's actually probably not as much of a Chad as Kevin either, which Kevin gets back into what I say about about him being the real deal, because Brandon Tate does have game. And we'll talk about that a little in this video. I know Black Pillars, Black Pill Orthodoxy says the game isn't real, but I think a guy like Brandon Tate shows that it actually is kind of real. Let's see.
Very nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi.
Really nice.
Thank you. Let's do two kisses. One, two.
Very nice to meet you.
Very
What's your
nice to meet you. Andrew Tate. What's your name?
Andrew. Nice to meet you. Cheyenne. Or Cheyenne Reynolds, if you didn't say so.
Cheyenne Reynolds.
Yeah.
We're going to do official.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Cheers. I think she's an attractive woman. She's good looking. Friendly demeanor.
I think that wearing the sunglasses indoors is a total douche move, but I guess the results speak for themselves.
I can tell she thinks she knows things, so I look forward to correcting her. But that's usually how life works.
That fucking impressed Rollo. Also, why are there just empty bird cages in the background?
Finally, see? A man that makes an effort. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. Finally, a man who makes an effort. Now, did you see how he walked in there? I've only seen, well, I shouldn't say that. I've seen two other of these quote-unquote dates here, okay? None of them start with Kino. That's exactly what he just did. Kiss on the cheek, touches her on the shoulder. He's confident enough that he's not worried about, like, this girl, like, losing her shit on him or anything like that, okay?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Kino escalation. Definitely when I was in the game, when I was a younger guy, that was, I would say, my biggest weakness. My biggest inability to close was because I couldn't do Kino. And the reason, and this was, I remember, I was a young guy before, like, game was popularized. There was no, by the time, like, PUA stuff had blown up and the red pill had blown up, I was already essentially done with women. I had just kind of outgrown it. Mainly because I wasn't seeing women anymore. Like, when I was in college, I was seeing, college girls every day. After that, I just didn't see them anymore. Um, the I didn't really. I mean, yeah, I would say I stopped really seeing any women under the age of like 50. It seemed like since I left college. Um, so, but anyway, so he goes and so the whole thing with Kino. Yeah, I don't think that Kino is total nonsense, but by any stretch of the imagination. I think that his Kino there actually was pretty good. To come in and the two kisses on the cheek, like it wasn't too much, but it was enough to like I don't know, do whatever Kino escalating is supposed to do. Um, Set the tone, maybe. Uh, I guess the problem would be uh, there was a big difference between Andrew Tate doing it, which gets that finally a man who makes an effort reaction from the hostess, versus me doing it. I don't think she would have been as receptive. And I know that I physically couldn't have pulled it off that way because it's just something that I wouldn't be comfortable doing. Now, maybe that's something that if I did it more often, I could get comfortable with it. Maybe. I don't know because I mean, I've mentioned before that initially making cold calls was very difficult for me in sales, and then I eventually became comfortable with it. Theoretically, I don't see any reason why you couldn't do the same with Kino, like why you couldn't just keep doing it until you get comfortable with it, except for two major issues. One is you're talking about physical intimacy. At the end of the day, there's really nothing wrong with making a cold call, especially when you've got that barrier of the phone between you. You may be uncomfortable with it at first for understandable reasons, but you're not actually in person. But when you're talking about Kino in any type of romantic thing and involving physical contact, that's kind of a different story. That's not necessarily something you're going to be getting comfortable with as much. The other thing is just where are you going to get the opportunity to practice? Are you just going to go up to random women like over and over? I guess theoretically, if you paid enough money, they could maybe like make a camp where you just practiced on prostitutes, like 100 times a day, or it went on fake dates, like multiple fake dates a day for like weeks at a time, and then eventually got to translate that. That's the only thing I could think of. But my guess is that for somebody like Andrew Tate, something that he ate kind of developed naturally. I think that, and I think that's most guys who are good at Kino or any type thing. So I guess where I'm going with this is, and this will become a bigger deal further on, is yeah, what Tate did to open it up was good, and we see what Brandon Tate does is very effective for him. That's what the same things are. Just because the kind of game that is effective for Brandon Tate is likely going to be actually very counterproductive for Ballface 80/20 or for a lot of guys. And that's one of the many very big problems with game and the red pill. The game advice that they cite is really a type of advice that only applies to a specific type of guy as opposed to all guys. You have to work with what you have. And let me just stop and make a really quick analogy. If let's say you're a heavyweight boxer and you're short and very powerful, then it might make sense. You have a hard time closing the distance, so it might make sense for you to learn how to fight out of a crouch and get in close and turn it into a slugfest or something like that. Whereas, let's say you're a heavyweight boxer, but you're tall and not very powerful. Well, then you're going to want to have a completely different style that better fits your physical attributes. Boxing trainer Emmanuel Stewart once said that he had 6'4" guys come into the gym who wanted to fight like Mike Tyson. And he would have to tell him, he said, look, you can't fight like Mike Tyson because you aren't built the way he is. You're not 5'10" and 220, you're 6'4" and 215. We need to use a different style for you. And I think so that's the same type of thing with game. You need to use the style that fits, your personality, your physical attributes, the type of women you're going after, stuff like that.
Okay. You can say, well, they're on a show together, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You could make that argument. However, this is about technique. This is not about like whether it's set up or it's not set up. He starts.
Well, of course it's set up. It's reality TV. However, to get away from the idea that reality TV is 100% fake. There's a difference between setup and putting on a show and something being outright scripted. I think it's pretty obvious that whatever this whole interaction is not scripted, which is the only thing we care about. It's not scripted. Like, yeah, they're both kind of playing for the cameras. Yeah, they both been kind of, they're both told to like put on a show, or it's not going to get. They're both trying to make good television, but it's still, at most, it's a kind of improv, and it's not even quite that. So you can learn enough about the interaction is still authentic, or still at least authentic enough for studying purposes.
With the technically what we would call Kino. So kinesthetics. He's already starting with touch, and he's already in a position right now where he is, let's just say, in a dominant position. He's begun the conversation without even having starting the conversation. He's already in his own frame.
Good, thank you. Yeah. Okay, where are you from?
I'm American, but I lived in England for a long time. I lived in a very prestigious part of the UK. I don't know if you've ever heard of Luton.
Very
Prestigious.
yeah.
Yeah, number one.
Luton. Okay. Was not expecting that.
So I was in Luton for a while, and now I live in Europe. So I'm just.
Okay, because your accent is like really different, isn't it?
It's pretty mixed up. I'm like a street dog, my dear. I've been here, I've been there. Half American, half English, half Luton, half everything else.
A bit of a mix.
I can't tell. Does Tate fake his British accent? I can't tell. Who cares?
That's cool. So how did you get here today?
I flew in this morning.
Flew in. It's different. Saying different.
Yeah. Jump on the jet.
Flew in on a jet. Who is this guy?
What about you? You have a mix, no?
Yeah, my family, we're Caribbean and English.
So the Caribbean side's the crazy side? Or the English side's the crazy side?
I'd say the Caribbean's the fun side. A bit
side?
spice.
So you're fun and crazy?
Not crazy.
It's the beginning of the day, you can't lie.
Do I look like I'd lie to you?
Yes.
Okay, so now what has he done here? Did you guys catch this? This is a compliance test is what this is, okay? So what he's doing, he's testing to see whether or not she's going to fall into his frame. She's not, because she's the host, okay? She kind of can't do it because she's got to carry the whole thing.
All right, somebody in the comments just tell me what Rollo's talking about. I don't. What, this is a TV show that she's a hostess of? I thought this was like a dating show or something. I have no idea what's going on.
But from what I have seen, at least in the two other interviews that I watched, like nobody else establishes this kind of frame. She's already established frame. And even the whole thing about Lutton and all that other stuff, it's like, yeah, okay, who cares, right? But it's the way he's delivering it. Like if I say I'm originally from Pasadena, California, right? Like that's like, who cares, right? But if I go, I am from Pasadena, California, right? If I go and I say something,
okay, yeah, if you say it like that, people will just be like, oh wow, you're as much of a douche as you look like. That's the only reaction that's going to happen there. I'm definitely not surprised to hear Rollo's from Pasadena, California. You have to keep in mind, like especially you younger guys, California used to be like an American paradise. Like it used to still be America. It used to be you could be middle class and still live there. It was now Californians were always weird. They were always, they had their superiority complex. They're really kind of like, oh, I'm so West Coast and laid back, man. And, I had family who grew up in California. So, Rollo's kind of like one of those classic, 80s California guys. They're not, most of them aren't nearly as bad as Rollo, but, same kind of type. Yeah, so, but yeah, obviously it's not now. California is a complete sewer. Excuse me. So, but what he's saying is, yeah, you gotta like, if you're, you say it like it's something to be proud of. And, I'm assuming the place that he mentioned in the UK is a dump. I know that he grew up kind of poor when his dad and his mom split. Well, I mean, I agree that don't be ashamed of yourself. But Rollo's going to go on to say here, like, what most guys will try to do is be self depreciating about it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. I mean, self depreciation can be a little cringe, and you can definitely go too far with it. But I don't think there's anything like too wrong with it. I mean, for me, it's just I don't really think anybody cares, and I think if anybody's pretending to care, it's like for the sake of the cameras. But like this isn't the 19th century. Nobody cares if you grew up poor. Okay, nobody gives a shit. Even in the UK, they don't care about that shit. So but even insofar as they do, like, yeah, don't be ashamed. I mean, don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed about. But like, like, so he tries to, like, I guess he's saying, well, Rollo saying, well, Tate says it like he's a badass. I don't know. I thought Tate was kind of making it like kind of like a joking way, almost like, yeah, it's really prestigious. Like that kind of, he was being self-depreciation. He just was kind of saying it in sort of an alpha way, I guess. So Rollo's, I think, doing a little bit of over analysis here.
Something like that. Then it depends on the delivery of how I am actually delivering that information, right? So there's a confident way to go and do these things, and there's sort of this like, from Lutton, sorry, don't apologize for yourself. A lot of guys will start off by self-deprecating because they think that is endearing. It is not endearing. Women want that.
Well, it can be. It depends. Like, I mean, like if you're a really big, strong, masculine guy and you do some self-depreciation, that's going to be attractive to most women because it creates a kind of contrast, and you can get away with it to this extent. And I'm not saying don't be self-depreciation if you're like some ugly troll, stupid manlet. And then I mean, do whatever works for you, but it can be really endearing. Rollo's trading in this thing like you have to act a specific way. And it's like, well, first of all, just different things are going to appeal to different women. So that's first of all. Second of all, it's got to be congruent with your personality. So, I mean, do what works for you and don't worry about this shit one way or the other, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be with somebody who you have to like put on an act in front of 24/7, even if it would work. And I think that usually it can't, but that's more theoretical.
But that challenge, he's already a challenge from the word go at this point. You'll also notice that he seems kind of arrogant, and that's what really rubs. Like when I was just watching the Twitter feed when I put the announcement for this show up, and everybody's like, "Well, I don't really like this guy." What is it? Where's this? I got this guy from. I'll just read it out here. This guy is called Labor Patriot. He says, "Take note that Andrew Tate, despite all the bravado, clearly has no children, much like a lot of pickup artists of the 2000s." The survival and replication and conquering jargon is a way to glamorize and justify plain pursuit of pleasure for its own sake, right? So,
I mean, that's a pretty good point. As for the whole thing of Tate's arrogance being effective for him, again, Tate has the phenotype to back that arrogance up. Mainly, he's big. He's physically big. He's a big guy. He's 6'2", and he's clearly, naturally strong and athletic. Now, what do you think it would look like if I got on camera and dressed the way Andrew Tate did and had the exact same body language? Try to picture that. That would not be very impressive. The thing is, like, even like I said, because even if you had like the glasses like Andrew Tate is, and by the way, I think one of the reasons he's wearing the glasses is because he does kind of have an oofy doofy eye area, and he wants to use the glasses to hide it so he can, because the glasses fit the persona he's trying to project better. Even with the glasses, it wouldn't work for me just because I don't have the size or the natural strength and athleticism. So, like, again, if you want to run Andrew Tate style game, there's like physical tools you need, and that most guys just don't have. And that's a real flaw in Rollo's logic. Keep in mind, Rollo himself is a bigger than average guy. Like, I think he's about 6 feet tall, and he's, I mean, not as strong as Tate, but he's like similar to, I don't even know what I would call him. Basically, Rollo's built kind of like imagine if Leonard Nimoy, Spock from old school Star Trek, lifted weights. That's what Rollo's built like.
This is, I don't say he's a hater, but the guy is definitely trying to disqualify that. They see something like a guy like that, this labor patriot guy, sees something like this, and he's like, well, that's disqualification. You want to talk about, like, when we talk about like how men and women fight, like intrasexually compete with one another, women fight in the psychological, men tend to fight in the physical. Now, we can't always be beating the shit out of each other to like prove that we're amogging such and such, but there's also the way of saying, well, disqualification is a way to eliminate a competitor from the sexual marketplace. So, for instance, if there's a very good-looking guy like Henry Cavill walks in the room, right? He's, how tall is he? 6'4", right? He's good-looking as a joke.
No, I don't think Henry Cavill's that tall, right? Isn't Henry Cavill only like 6'1"?
Oh, he's friggin' Superman, okay? Walks into the room, a guy that looks like that. Guys will be like, man, well, he's probably gay, right? That probably gay part is disqualification. Women do this all the time, and more feminized, blue pill, beta male men do exactly the same thing. They fight with the same techniques that women do. Oh, he's probably gay.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a lot of that. Both, I don't know if one gender is worse than the other on that front, and I don't necessarily think it's a blue pill beta thing. But there's also the reverse of it. I remember my mom telling me a cop she used to work with was saying that, like, when he was coming up in the 70s, we would look at magazines, with pictures of women, Playboy or Hustler or something, and that these younger generation all look at magazines with pictures of men, weightlifting magazines and stuff. So, I mean, I would say that for every guy who would see Henry Cavill and be like, oh, he's probably gay, you'd have 10 guys who would be simping for him, who would be like, oh, wow, he's such an alpha Chad type, like that. So, I know what Rollo's talking about. It definitely happens. But and then women would do the same thing. They'll simp over like a really beautiful girl. So I don't know if one gender is worse about it than the other. There is a little bit of it. What I would say though is that women tend to be, the one difference is women will be hostile whether regardless of whether she's beautiful or not. If there's a woman who's like overtly a slut, other women will really police that because they don't want, because I guess maybe like there's some, I don't believe in evolution, but maybe there's some Darwinian thing where they want to keep men from going after sluts or something, or they don't like devaluing their own value. I don't know. That's the only really difference I see.
Right. It's this disqualification thing rather than saying, yeah, he's got his shit together. I got my shit together too. Like, rather than trying to meet head on, it's always sniping.
Except the difference is what that labor patriot guy said about Andrew is completely right. The thing is, like, everything, like, let's be honest. It's pretty obvious that there's that Andrew Tate is putting on a front. Like I've said before, his eye area is completely incongruent with the personality he's trying to project, which is the number one sign that personality is bullshit. I mean, I'm sure he really is a jerk, but he's deliberately putting on this alpha front that isn't really naturally him. Not that he isn't really a jerk, or not that he isn't really a tough guy, but he's not this like sort of predator type. Whereas like even a much smaller guy like Justin Bieber really does have that kind of like, Justin Bieber would never have to hide behind eyeglasses because his eye area, you look into his eye area and you can tell exactly what Justin Bieber is all about. Whereas you look into look at Brandon Tate's eye area and it's very oofy doofy, which doesn't fit this like suave man persona, which is why he is always hiding behind the glasses. But even if it wasn't just an act, I mean, what the labor patriot guy said is true. I mean, that's what men are designed to do. And no, it's not the right choice for every man. I always knew I didn't want to get married and have kids. But generally, that's, a big part historically in every society. That's a big part of what it meant to be a man and what being successful meant was having a wife and kids, having a family. And Tate is not in his 20s anymore, and he's still playing the game. That's not, being a Casanova is not what being a man is about. At least historically, it's not what being a man. And these are the guys who are all saying we want to bring back traditional masculinity. Well, there's nothing traditional about the kind of masculinity these guys have, which is just kind of sort of an extended adolescence.
But it's like a disqualification tactic. And so what's happening right here is he's already building himself up to being somebody that you're not going to like, and you really want to watch him fall down.
I'm not a liar, actually.
You're not a liar. Everything you tell me for the rest of this episode is going to be complete truth.
Yeah.
Promise me. Say I promise.
I promise. No, I really promise.
Compliance test right there. Bam. Say I promise.
I mean, yeah, that's probably what he was doing, and it's fucking weird. Don't do that shit. I mean, again, if it works, it works. But to me, it's like you're making it harder than it needs to be. It came out as unnatural and weird, and you don't need it. You don't need to do it. It reminds me how in sales where they try to do this thing, and I don't do this, and most people I see don't encourage you to do this, which is get them to say yes over and over, so they're in the habit of saying yes. Like a lot of the people who call you up probably waste your time, right? Yes, so you get them agree. I don't do that. All the sales trainers I respect don't tell you to do that kind of shit. But that's the kind of shit. All that stuff is a distraction, like this compliance test stuff. It's gimmicky construction. Like what if she sees what you're trying to do? You're going to look really fucking stupid and actually lessen your chances.
I promise. Say you'll say the truth for the rest of this date. Compliant, man. That is like you guys want examples. Oh, Rollo, give me how does shit testing work? How does compliance test work? How does frame work? Here it
Compliance testing is stupid. Don't do it.
is, children. Red Pill 101 right here. That was a compliance test. Did you guys catch that for the red?
Oh, no, we didn't. Maybe if you mention it 5 more times, we would understand. Thank you, Rollo.
So this show, you promised to tell me the truth. Got it?
I never would have
Oops.
thought my life would look the way it looks 2 years from this program.
Sorry, guys.
I set my
Back to the video.
We'll see.
All right, we'll see.
I got to say that black and white is a good combination for women, at least. I know Andrew Tate's kind of weird looking, but this half Caribbean, half white chick is attractive.
So what do you do?
Think of a lie. Give me a second.
No, you can't lie.
You have to tell the truth. I don't have to tell the truth.
Why?
We already agreed. You're telling the truth. There's only one of us can tell the truth. One of us can lie.
That's not good stuff.
I'm a shoe salesman.
Okay. That right there, full-on compliance test and meant to provoke.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's just looking stupid. So, I mean, again, she's putting up with it because, like Rollo himself said, it's a show, and she's got to play along with it to make. That's her only goal in this interaction, is to make compelling television. So, I mean, would you do this in a real? Again, what he did right there was very cringe. I mean, if you're going to do that, she better already be pretty into you. And if she is into you, that into you that you can get away with that shit, you don't need to do it. So let's just stick with the basics, Dating is hard enough, that like let's just worry about getting the basics down and not worry about all this unnecessary stuff, which tends to do more harm than good.
Meant to pick that up. Do you guys get that? That's the follow-up to that, by the way. So you have to tell the truth, but I can lie. If you could establish that, and she's already playing with it.
Dude, that would be fucking cringe if a middle schooler was doing it. This is a grown man. Isn't he like 35 years old? Come on now.
Like she's the bratty sister and he's the older brother right now.
Jesus, Rollo, stop it.
Before you we're not even like 10 minutes in right now.
I sell shoes, socks, shoe accessories, polish, etc., etc.
I'm sorry, this is Joe Descartes level. Please let this stop soon.
Sell shoes.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Surviving. Sold 2 pairs of shoes yesterday.
Okay, what did he do?
Okay. If you're gonna do a cheesy, corny story with this, get off of it really quick. Just be no. I don't even like doing it as a short term. It reminds me of Joe Descartes' scooter racer story, and he just kept going with it. Like he's already. I didn't even like it when he started with it, and he just kept going. And then again, what's the disclaimer I always say? Like, if it works, do it. This I'm going to make an exception here. Don't do it even if it works. It's just too cringe. And you are making the universe a worse place if you do this stuff. And again, if it works, it means that she was so into you that anything would have worked. In which case, why are you degrading yourself? And you're not just degrading yourself, you're degrading all of humanity when you engage in stuff like this.
Do there, children. I sell shoes. Come on now, right? We know he doesn't sell shoes, okay? By the way, old school pickup artist 101, okay? This was, what do you do for a living? I'm a disposable lighter repairman. Remember that from the game? That's just 2022 that all he's doing is agreeing and amplifying. What he's doing, like, remember when
What is he agreeing with? Or amplifying, for that matter? What are you talking about?
say play with her and play with her? This is that interplay going on right now.
Yeah, I get it. And girls like it if you tease them a little bit, but you got to do it the right way. There's, fun teasing and just annoying teasing. This is like what Casey would try to do. I mean, Casey would probably somehow make it even worse. But then again, I think that Casey would actually handle this better, if I'm being honest, because because Casey would be like, is so autistic, like that he would be like, well, I want to just get to the point. Do you like me? Do you like me? If you don't like me, tell me now. And then if you don't like me, well, you need to figure out why. Why not? And if you do like me, then let's talk about how we can take this to the next step. Something like that. Whereas Tate is, like I said, he's trying to treat her like a little sister and stuff. There's a place for that. I've seen it work, okay? Not something I've ever done with girls, but I've seen it work. I've seen like more Chad types do it. And but this is, no, you don't want to do it, and you don't want to do it with a woman like this, who's obviously, really intelligent, really classy. Maybe when you're in a relationship with her, but not this early in the date and not this corny, okay? Remember, girl like this is not going to be interested in you if she doesn't respect you. And she's never going to respect a guy like Brandon Tate. I'm sorry. Or Andrew Tate, I'm sorry.
Do you understand? Do you get this as we're going along here? You don't need gurus. You don't need to go do infields. You watch this right here. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. This is how I write my stuff. This is how I get in.
Dude, you're married with a kid. What the fuck are you talking about? You've been out of the game for at least 20 years. I think longer than that. What are you talking about? Plus, doesn't your wife financially support you?
Get into the game. This is exactly what I've been doing. And, Gorillas in the Mist, watching the humans. This is exactly what I've been doing for years right now. And I watch this and I see this and I go, yep, that's cocky and funny. That is agree and he just did agree and amplify. Oh, you're a shoe salesman. That is, she knows.
It's cocky. It's not funny.
He's not a shoe salesman.
Yes, we get it. We get it, Rollo. You already said it. You can move on.
He's not a shoe salesman. He knows he's not a shoe
Oh
salesman.
my God.
But they go along with it. He doesn't break a character. You see what's happening. Play with her and play with her. That's why.
Okay, Rollo.
Good. Let's move on.
Okay, that's good. He's a liar. So tell me a bit about you.
I'm not comfortable opening up too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you might work for John Law and the government. I have to be careful what I say.
Oh, so it's not commitment issues.
That's not commitment issues. It's more just like legality issues.
Oh, okay.
I like to go to church. I'm a man of God. I Scrabble.
Do you have faith?
Okay, so this is, you have to earn my truth. I'm going to lie to, like he's just said, he's doing everything he said he was going to do.
Again, I hear you, Rollo. I hear you. For that to work, she's already got to be engaged. Okay? And at this point, you're just way overselling, and you don't want to do that. Have you never worked in sales, Rollo? I'm thinking you haven't. And if you did, you probably weren't very good. Because you don't want to oversell, and this is what Tate is doing here is over gaming. And look, I know he doesn't have a choice; it's a TV show. Doesn't have a choice either, because this conversation would have ended at IRL.
He's lying, right? but she's going along with it. She's
We
smiling,
got
she's
that.
loving every friggin' minute of it.
She's not loving it. She's clearly irritated. She's playing along with it because she has to, because it's a show, as you yourself pointed out. This was supposed to be about Andrew Tate. Instead, it's going to be about how fucking weird you are.
That's why. Okay? Remember, this isn't scripted. This isn't like, oh, you had to memorize any of these lines. Right? It's good looking dude. He's gonna. I will give Tate points for when you're gonna see him sort of like elevate emotion and then and decline emotion. You'll see how that happens here later on.
Okay, this is good. This is an interesting conversation that we can have on camera, which is.
I'd say my personal journey with God is between me and God. So I'm not one of those people that like is like, yes, I go to church, or yes, I do this.
Don't you think that's a bit like lazy Christianity?
No.
I love this. Okay, so now it's judgment. Now he's judging her, but not judging her so much, but like he's analyzing her. So now he's the one that's in control. Like he's doing the interviewing right now, really. So he's sort of shit. Like you see it. Did you see it? The script change here, especially when he starts talking about God, because she takes it seriously and he doesn't.
No, not really, because for me, I believe in.
Well, I mean, she's a lot more intelligent than he is, and she's a lot more educated or refined than he is. You know, they were like, Tate's smart, but in kind of like a low level way. Like, I mean, in terms of IQ, he's probably I wouldn't be surprised if he's not that much less than she is, but ultimately she's just a classier person, and I don't even mean that as a compliment to him. She's just, you know, more educated, more refined, like more classy, lack of a better word. So she's taking this stuff, you know, she takes this stuff kind of seriously, whereas Tate's much more childlike, much more crude. So for him, he's trying to like win the interaction. She's trying to have a conversation while create engaging TV.
Love and I believe in faith, and I don't think it's just one religion that you need to follow. You know, I've got friends that are Muslim, I've got friends that are Christian, you know, I've got friends that are spiritual, so I don't put myself in one category.
I understand and I respect that completely, but don't you think out of respect for God himself, whether you're in Dubai and you go to the mosque, or you're in England, you go to the church, you should get up early on a Sunday, despite all the booze, and get up and take an hour out of your life and just show some respect?
No, because everyone's journey with God is personal.
You can be a lazy spiritualist, a lazy Christian, you can be a lazy kickboxer, right? I'm a kickboxer, but I don't train.
Yeah, I think he's taking it kind of seriously, and I think he's got a point. I don't want to get, you know, off track here. We're talking about spirituality and stuff. I think it's, I think I'm kind of, you know, I'm going to have to kind of agree with what she said. You know, everybody's got their own journey, but that doesn't necessarily mean that where everybody is necessarily the right way to be. Like, I mean, I think that you should, ideally, you're at least always making your best effort to live the life you think you should be living. Now, I'm not doing that, and I don't have any intentions of ever doing that. But I'm also, you know, well, I'm not. There is no also. It is what it is. But you know, whereas her kind of like wishy-washy, non-judgmental spirituality, that's pretty empty as far as I'm concerned. Not that Tate's is much better. And I think what he said about, you know, being a kickboxer, not training, I think that's pretty good.
Get in.
All right. What's funny about this whole thing is that you know damn well what's coming out of his mouth is like he's trying to push the conversation along, but they want to take him literally. They want to take him like, oh, he's really this way. This is what he's really about. Well, the fact that you can't tell is the game. I'm sorry about the quietness of this. I really don't know how else to boost this up as any.
What the hell? What are you talking about?
Any more than it is. I'll see what I can do on the board. Hang on.
I'm not lazy. Do you have time for it?
Absolutely.
That's good. Do you get up early on a Sunday?
Completely.
That's good.
Every single Sunday, of course.
That's amazing.
And I think that being religious is a beautiful thing, and I think that a lot of people try and say they're spiritual or they're religious in a way, copping out on the 1 hour a week. It just feels a bit lazy to me. I think you can always find an hour.
Yeah. No, you definitely could.
So maybe God sent me here to make you go to church.
Maybe you're here to enlighten me.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, there it is. I'm God. You guys pick up on that? I'm God.
No, I didn't pick up on that at all. I think even Tate, if he were here, would say, "What the hell are you talking about, Rollo? You weirdo."
She's already qualifying to him. He's not qualifying to her. He's not.
It's a TV show, you idiot. She's trying to keep the conversation going. She's trying to be a good hostess. Trust me, she's not impressed with this guy. Okay. I know I'm not like a woman expert. By the way, why are you wearing an Oakland Raiders hat, you California weirdo? Um, she's just, she's just she's just playing the game. She's just playing the game. That's it. Trust me, she wouldn't touch this guy with a 10-foot pole in real life, okay? This shit is not good. You can tell she is not impressed. How can you not see that? Isn't this your life's work?
He's not trying to get into her. He's the litmus test is with him, not with her. Okay, you can hear it. It's fine. I can hear it. Okay, sorry. Anyways,
Last time, that only works if she's already into you. Sheesh. You have to know what stage you're in.
The point of the
Which she's not, by the way.
The whole thing is that he has just flipped the script on her, so that he's the one that this is like perfect frame control, absolutely like flawless frame control. Now you're gonna say this. You're gonna say, okay, well, he's got a lot of money. He's good looking. He has to take his glass.
The money is irrelevant. Good looking, good facial structure. Not. I don't think he is that good looking. Not taking the glasses off. Sorry, huge issue. And if this was a real seduction, it would be a huge issue because she's going to be imagining. Let's say she is into him. She's going to be imagining good eye area. Possibly the most important thing to women when it comes to facial looks is eye area. And that's why, like I said before, that's why he's wearing the glasses. He's wearing the glasses to hide the weak eye area. His eye area isn't even that bad. It's just, it's average, maybe a little bit below average. And the whole fake persona, though, crumbles when he doesn't have it. And so, even if she was into him, he's just set him up in a situation where eventually he's going to have to remove those glasses and she's going to be like, ew. That's the worst thing because she's like, if she's into you, she's imagining this whole conversation with you having Tom Cruise eyes. And when you disrupt that image, that incongruency is way worse than if she just knew from the beginning you had the weak eye area, which is why Chad fishing never works to like try to win a girl over because she had already known you as she had already been imagining you as this super good looking guy. So even if you're not a bad looking guy, when she sees it, it's like it's just so incongruent with the image that she had of you that it's over. I mean, it's over.
Glasses off once, right? He's definitely dressed like women. By the way, women understand the minute you walk into a room, they know how much your whole outfit costs. Okay, and I don't care if you're in the Midwest and you bought your outfit from Walmart. Those women know how expensive the clothes are that you are wearing at that particular time. Okay, women are very
and they don't care. Women don't care about money. This isn't fucking Russia, okay? We're in the West. Now, this could change in the future. I do think that as the fake prosperity we've been living with for so long changes, it will change. It will have an impact. Right now, though, women don't care about your money, okay?
Even the girl from freaking rural rural Midwest knows fashion well enough. It's certainly this girl does here too. Okay, 33 years old, single mother. She sees this guy walk in. She's looking for the bigger and better deal, especially women who are incentivized. Right? She's already past the epiphany phase. She's already
okay. That's enough. Okay, so what did we learn in this video? Nothing. We learned nothing. I got nothing out of this video whatsoever. Now, normally I would say that, look, we didn't learn anything, but at least we were entertained. No, wasn't entertained. The video we just watched wasn't entertaining. Rollo's commentary wasn't entertaining. My commentary wasn't entertaining. This whole thing was a gigantic waste of time. It was, just nothing good came out of this whole experience. That's all for now, and I will see you guys in the next. Bye.